and welcome to everyone who is here with us live for today's discussion celebrating World Milk Day. In typical British weather style, we may sadly be experiencing some technical difficulties today, but we are going to try and stay with you because we've got such amazing resources to bring to celebrate World Milk Day. My name is Natalie Ravenscroft and I am the Service Development Manager here at NAPA. We are streaming live across our Facebook and YouTube channels this afternoon. Please do say hello in the chat and tell us if you're celebrating World Milk Day this year, and if so, what do you have planned? I'm delighted today to be joined by our partners, Lakeland Dairies and also Borough Care. But before I invite today's guests to join me, for those of you who are watching and may not be familiar with NAPA, let me tell you a little bit more. NAPA is National Activity Providers Association, and we are a charity. We support the care sector to prioritise wellbeing. We promote arts, engagement and activities, and we champion the role of activity providers, providing information, advice and practice development tools. NAPA has a wide range of professional development opportunities, such as qualifications, training programmes and conferences. We are proud to be the Association for Activity Providers in the UK, and as a charity, we believe you should have the resources you need to engage the people that you support at low or no cost. Every year we launch a national campaign, and this year's theme is the Year of Connected Communities. We would be delighted if you would like to find out a little bit more for you to head over to our website, and we have a range of resources available for you to download. All of our services are developed and in response to consultation and feedback with our members and yourselves through our support services. So today I'm delighted to be joined by Lakeland Dairies. And first of all, I would like to welcome Jean Catanack, Marketing Controller at Lakeland Dairies, to the stage. Hi Jean, how are you?
Hi Natalie, I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to stay dry in this very wet weather this afternoon. I was expecting sunshine, but I suppose, you know, a little bit of rain won't hurt anyone.
Well, it would be good for the grass, where our dairy cows will be out grazing at the moment. And just start by saying a big thank you to NAPA for inviting us to be part of this session today. It's a real privilege to work with you and support the good work that you do. And super excited for our two amazing guests we've got coming up soon and supporting us in the event today, which is fabulous. Yeah. So I suspect some of your audience are wondering why Lakeland Dairies are here today. And just to explain a little bit about who we are an Irish dairy cooperative with a very proud and long history in excellent dairy farming. Over in the island of Ireland, right here, right now, in the northern half, we have 3,200 family farms producing wholesome, high quality, nutritious milk every day, and it is literally 365 days of the year. This high quality milk is coming to us to process into some amazing products, particularly for care settings, and we are super excited to be celebrating World Milk Day with you, with NAPA and with care settings all up and down the UK and Ireland today. And really part of our motivation for working with NAPA is we firmly believe that great connections between wellbeing teams and catering teams can make a big difference to the everyday well-being of individuals living in care settings. And food-based activities and the fabulous toolkit that we developed with NAPA, we think will be really great in this space today as we celebrate all things milk and the goodness of milk.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. And yes, you know, NAPA and Lakeland Dairies have been working together for many years now. And as you just mentioned there, the toolkit that we worked together on and partnered with through surveys and feedback from activity providers and catering teams has been really well received. So if you've not yet downloaded that toolkit, it's free. Please go and head over. I'm sure Jana will probably be popping the link into the chat for you to access. It's it's got some great ideas, some great case studies in there, and some brilliant examples. Okay, well, I would like to welcome today to the stage representing Borough Care, Leigh, and who is an activity lifestyle facilitator, and her chef, Nicole, from Cawood House, Brinnington in Stockport. Good afternoon to you both.
Hi.
Well, hi, you're looking absolutely fantastic. We are loving the cow hairs. And Nicole, what is it you have on there? Can you just show our viewers if you don't mind? Oh, fantastic! You've got a cow apron. I think that's absolutely typical of you can see the relationship there between you two working together to even dress up to come and have a talk this afternoon. So that's amazing.
This is for the residents. They love a good
Yes, certainly. It definitely is one of the perks I found being an activity provider is the opportunity to have a full box of spontaneous dressing up costumes. So thank you for bringing that today with you. It just looks amazing. Thank you. Leigh, would you like to tell us a little bit about who Borough Care are and the type of service that you work in, please?
Borough Care is based in Stockport. We have 12 homes, soon to be 13. 10 of them are based in Stockport and 2 of them are based in Staffordshire, one to come as well. The care home I work in is mainly dementia. We have 42 residents here, ranging from early onset dementia all the way through to fully advanced dementia. Majority of the Stockport homes are dementia as well, but we do have a wide range of residents.
Okay, brilliant. And are you on one level? Are you spread across different floors?
It's 2 floors, ground floor, 1 above. But the care staff are really good here. So if I'm in one department, they're always in the other department doing another activity as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about your roles each then as well, please? Should we start with you, Leigh, and then we'll go on to Nicole?
I do activities and lifestyle facilitator. I love my job. At the moment, we're concentrating on food, which, funnily enough, World Milk Days definitely come in with that. Work really closely with the families as well and the local communities, which we've found NAPA really useful for the community side this year. It's really helped.
Brilliant. And Nicole, would you like to tell us a bit about your role and how long you've been working
I'm
as a chef?
catering crew member. I've worked for Borough Care for about 3 years, and the events are the best part of the job for me because it's so much fun and it's different every time. We've got a lot planned around the events. So.
And you've got the coronation coming up as well, eh? So I'm sure you've been very busy planning that. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. Jean, would you like to tell us a little bit about why World Milk Day is something which Lakeland Dairies see as an opportunity for activity providers and catering teams to collaborate on?
Sure. Thank you, Natalie. Well, we can see Nicole and Leigh are already inspired by World Milk Day. So I think that just gives a little taste of the energy and I guess difference that celebrating World Milk Day can make in a care setting for residents. I think milk is something that everybody can relate to. It's generally part of all our everydays. And maybe something we don't always take the time to appreciate or think about where it's come from and the goodness of milk that it can do for us. And you can see with Leigh and Nicole in the background, they've already been inspired to make some magical things with milk bottles. So there's a number of different reasons. I think it connects really well to the staff in care settings. So again, something everybody can relate to. From residents' point of view, they'll have grown up in times when we had the milkman coming round and the milk floats. So there's plenty of opportunity to reminisce and hear their stories about the cream being frozen at the top and the birds trying to peck the silver foil at the top. I can see Leigh You're looking a little bit puzzled, probably a bit too young to remember that.
No, I remember the glass bottles on your doorstep. I'm not that young.
So you go, plenty of conversation there, and obviously milk's an amazing ingredient from a chef point of view. So lots of different things you can do with milk that will appeal to residents, from milk and milkshakes through to making rice puddings, through to making lovely cream sauces. So, a huge array of products that come out with that. So I think it's a really great opportunity. It's not a well-known day. This is still quite new. So we think it'll be quite vibrant and create a lot of energy to think about something a little bit different in the care homes, and really get some great conversations and make a big difference in that moment, in that day, to everyone who's involved.
You're making me very hungry there, Jean.
Trying.
Delicious things that we could make with milk. It makes me very hungry. Brilliant. Okay, thank you. So coming over to Leigh then, what opportunities, Leigh, do you think it promotes, World Milk Day provides for you to connect with Nicole?
I found Milk Day a tough one. I will admit that. I looked at NAPA's resources. I looked on Lakeland's resources as well. And I went to Nicole and I was like, what on earth? What on earth do we do for Milk Day? I thought it was quite a tough one. So we started talking about food. I'll let Nicole tell you about her little ideas that she had with that. But then it led on to things like dairy farm tours. It's amazing what you can find on YouTube. It really is. But I'd say food is a huge thing to bring people together, especially when we bring family members in as well.
Yeah.
Recipe-wise.
Yeah, and I can imagine that first initial thought of, well, what could we do for World Milk Day without probably the obvious of, drinking milk. So I'm thank you for raising that, because the fact that you've gone to Nicole as well, and you've thought and discussed and sat down together to decide what it is you could do, and thinking outside the box, because sometimes the role of the activity provider, you are constantly trying to think of new ideas or something that you can provide that's a little bit different to around the day, the actual day itself.
It's like a mental block.
Yeah, and I suppose hopefully everyone watching today will take some inspiration from the ideas that we're going to discuss and share about shortly. Nicole, what opportunity do you think that it? Leigh's just said there that she's come to you and you've discussed things. What opportunities do you think it's provided from a catering team's perspective to celebrate World Milk Day?
I think the first thought was, what do I do with milk every day? So it's in your cereal, it's in your teas, in coffee, but it's also in a lot of things that you don't really realise how much it is in. Even from, we've got an activity later that we're going to tell you about with butter, and just, it's everywhere. You just take it for granted and you forget. So it's sort of thinking about what you do every day and trying to think of our residents and what they used to do every day and trying to bring it back.
And I suppose there's an opportunity there for you as well to think about the nutritional intake that your individuals will receive from an event, like World Milk Day itself, and obviously the products that you use to fortify the meals or drinks that you're providing.
Yeah, we have all the normal sort of milk, butter, but we also use the fortified milks and the fortified creams as well, just for added nutrients and getting all the goodness into them that they need.
Fab. So you just mentioned that you've got some activity ideas. So before we jump onto that, because I'm sure everyone's intrigued to hear, looking at you two dressed up, what it is you've got planned. But in what ways would you say that you can plan World Milk Day activities together? In what way would you do that? If someone was watching
we have meetings, don't we? We have meetings between ourselves. We get support from kitchen managers as well. But we hold different meetings throughout the time. So we'll have resident meetings with our own residents. I prefer to do more of a resident-led activity. So there's no point planning something without their input because they might not even want to do it. So resident-led more on their ideas and then maybe pushing their ideas a little bit further. We have resident family meetings only for activities. So I'll bring the family members in. Nicole or kitchen management will work together, provide something for the resident families to eat, and we'll talk and see how they can get involved. I wish one of them was a farmer at the moment. I really do.
You never know, you might get one from this from World Milk Day. You might find that someone wants to be a farmer. You never know.
Well, you never know. And it's surprising how many I've got jobs that actually do link back to milk that you wouldn't have thought of either, especially this generation.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, how do you think then, because you were just saying that you plan meetings and your activities are resident-led, which is fantastic. How do you think it connects people together, celebrating something like World Milk Day? How do you think it connects them?
We found a lot of the ladies were in the Land Army. So I have had a few conversations, not full on yet, but I've had a couple of conversations with the ladies that were in the Land Army. They told us so many stories about, we've got a lady that met her partner on the Land Army. He was from Germany. So you've got the male side of it. He was in the army. You've got them on the Land Army. One might have even been a milkman. Then you've got another lady that remembers bringing her milk in, like you say, the silver tops, the frozen milk. You'd be surprised how everybody links to it. I think it is quite surprising.
Even in my family, we were all milk people. So all my sisters all had, we all had milk rounds in the morning before school. So all of us are connected to it.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jean, how that one word of milk, can actually bring a whole conversation and reminiscence and memories forward and connections through a drink or an object, like a milk bottle or a drink of milk.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's really exciting to hear Leigh and Nicole talking about some of their experience from their residents. As we say, milk's such a part of our everyday lives. You can take it for granted. But actually, I agree, Leigh, when you kind of start, you go, oh, World Milk Day. But when you start thinking about it, you can't, you sort of have so many ideas, you don't know what to do with them.
It's easier than you think. Once Nicole started going on about recipe ideas and what milk was in, the ball did roll. Yeah.
And like you say, farming is so much, it's very familiar to us, but actually we don't always know about farming. So finding out little bits about farming can really brighten up the day and brings you very close to the land, which is a very kind of authentic, credible feeling, isn't it?
I think it is for the older generation now as well. The generation that we care for, I think they've got some really wonderful stories.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah. Fab. So let's have a little think then about what type of activities might prompt individuals to become interested in milk. Have you got anything you would like to share?
Butter,
yes. We thought about how you make butter and how they used to make it. And I know there's with the price of butter going up, it was quite viral a few weeks ago about making your own. So we thought about putting a marble in a milk carton or a jar and filling it with cream and shaking it. So by the end of it, you end up with butter. And then Leigh said, well, we could make it into an exercise and add music. So we were doing it to the beat of music. So that's the first one.
So that's our movement to music every day.
Sounds great. You're going to have some strong muscles.
We've got 42 residents and a lot of members of staff.
Yeah.
There'll be no bingo wings in our home by the end of it.
That's true.
And you can flavour the butter as well. So then at the end, we were going to have it on some homemade bread as a snack for afterwards, like a reward, if you will.
Yeah, I think they'll need something.
That sounds fabulous. You have to share some pictures with us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, you might even get a video.
Even
Get sent
better.
some butter. Might get sent some butter, Jean.
Yeah. New technique.
Yeah.
We looked online, like I said, about the farm tours at the dairy farms. They're really good. They're quite interesting as well, actually. And they're not lengthy. They are quite short, some of them. So like just 3 or 4 minutes long. And that strikes up a lot of conversation as well with the ladies who were on the land army, milking the cows, and how it's changed so much as well. We were going to make smoothies, weren't we?
Yeah.
As well.
Ooh.
What were we going to do for breakfast? We looked at breakfast, didn't we? Is that milkshakes?
We were going to do the smoothies for after, if we do any exercises like yoga, the smoothies would be really good with the fruit. And also yogurts and things to go over the fruit for breakfasts and things like that.
We have a lot of cooks with our residents. A lot of the residents used to be cooks, so it's a really good way of getting them to carry on the independence as well.
Yeah.
Because they're really proud when they've made something like that as well. We did ice lollies last year.
Yeah.
Prosecco and raspberry ice lollies we did.
Very nice.
We enjoyed them.
Yeah, so
we really did.
We thought we could do like milk ice lollies, and we could flavour the milk and see if they can guess the flavours. And we've also got the
forgot about
bottles behind.
when
Can you show us the milk bottles behind you then?
When I looked into it, Lakeland, you're most probably the same, Jean. They're trying to make the world a better place, less plastic and things like that, or reusable.
Yeah.
So we always concentrate on our garden at Cawood in the spring and summer. So instead of throwing the milk bottles away and recycling them, we recycled them ourselves. So we made little watering bottles, and they've used just pom-poms to put the paint on. We've put holes in the top so the water can come out. Then you'll walk around the garden and water the garden.
And this one is a somewhat camouflaged bird feeder.
They're fabulous.
But they hang up as well. They really enjoyed that, and it's really good sensory wise as well for all the twigs, and they're out in the garden foraging for them, and even the smell of them, they were smelling the trees and the pine, and it was a really good activity actually.
Oh, lovely.
I like your thought process of you know, so you've had the milk, you've probably drank it or had it in a meal, and then you've recycled the bottle as well. That's led into another activity. So that's really nice, really good idea there. Okay, wow. Have you got any other activity ideas that you would like to share?
I want to try again. I think I spoke about this with you, Natalie, the creative writing side, and that was really nice to see that in Lakeland's resources as well. When I first saw about creative writing, I thought I really was not confident it was going to work. So I followed the resource, and I was really, really surprised. So Cawood at the moment, we're building up our short stories, and hopefully we'll make a little book out of them as well.
Oh,
so
fabulous.
Really pleasantly surprised. But we are going to look at Lakelands and go off Lakelands for World Milk Day. So I'll keep you posted on the short stories.
Yeah, please do.
Follow the questions, and you'd be surprised what you get back. They end up really lovely.
Wow, well, there's lots to think about there, and I know we'd love to see the short stories as well. It really is, as you mentioned, not as scary as what it appears to create a short story, and certainly images of milk and dairy farms will inspire some lovely conversations. So that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing them activity ideas. Nicole, I'm just wondering from a catering's point of view, do you have any nutritional meals or drinks based ideas for those watching today in the catering teams that they might be able to make with milk for World Milk Day?
I know it's not Natalie's favourite, but rice pudding always goes down here. It is one of the favourites here. But we have panna cotta that's a regular on. We have a 4-week menu, so that's on one of the weeks. So that comes up quite often.
Mousse.
Yeah, we have mousse, which is really good for the residents that are on the IDSI levels. So they have like modified texture meals, and mousse is a really good one for them. So it sort of gets them included as well, so they're not sort of being left out a little bit. We've said about the milk lollies and the flavoured milks. Any sort of cream-based sauce for pastas like carbonara is a good one. There's many many recipes on there, and semolina, that one is quite surprising because that's quite an old one and they do like it.
It all sounds very, very yummy, and as usual, my tummy is feeling that it needs to go and have a nice carbonara or something. It sounds gorgeous. They're very lucky to have such a creative menu by the sounds of it. Okay, well, thank you for that. I think we're going to go over to Jean now, and we'll come back to you two in a moment if that's okay. Because I think with all this talking and all these ideas, and we keep mentioning the World Milk Day resource from Lakeland Dairies, that it would be nice if Jean could talk us through the resource that you keep referencing to. If that's okay with you, Jean?
Yeah, of course, be delighted to. Thank you. Although I feel, having talked to Leigh and Nicole, there's a lot more we could add to what we think is already a fabulous resource. So this resource was developed with NAPA, Natalie, as you know, and again, thank you so much for NAPA's support here. So it is new for us and for NAPA, so it's shiny and new and exciting, and it is packed with activities and some recipes. So I'm sure Jana in the background is going to start flicking through it. But we have an introduction just to give a bit of context to World Milk Day, some amazing reminiscence activities, some recipes. And the recipes that we have in here are fortified, and they're fortified with an amazing product, Lakeland Dairies skimmed milk powder. And we did a lot of work to make sure that these drinks, they taste fantastic, they look fantastic, but they're quite easy to make as well. We can see here some real fun facts around milk, and Leigh and Nicole were talking about how many people actually touch milk and dairy processing, and this page just brings that to life a little bit for everybody. From the creative side, we've got some quizzes, so some fabulous quizzes with best practice from NAPA on how to do that. So some really interesting questions here that were developed by my colleague Eloise, who's sitting in the background here. We also have, with NAPA's support, some poems and some creative writing tips that NAPA developed, and Leigh was talking about those really helping. And of course, here we've got a reminder of the goodness of milk. You know, it really is an amazing superfood that supports all of us every day. You can see poetry here, and following the formats from NAPA, a lovely, lovely, lovely poem about milk. And then we go on to the creative acrostic poem. This is something I'm not familiar with, but I gather it's very, very popular. And Eloise, again, really super excited about this one. And I know she's already, I think, had to go at writing one or two. So this, I'm sure, will prove popular with Leigh and her colleagues. And the creative writing and the structure there from NAPA to really help do that activity super well for everyone. Another rice pudding recipe. So Natalie, I didn't realise this wasn't one of your favourites, but it does taste amazing. And again, this one has been very carefully designed. So it's fortified with extra nutrients, particularly protein, which really helps with muscle mass and muscle maintenance, and helping support residents that need that little extra support and nutrition, and help build them back up. And it tastes amazing. Taste is something we're really proud of through our dairy products. So we always make sure everything tastes fantastic. So they want more and more. And then finally, one of our certainly my favourite activity, and this was all Eloise's inspiration, who's sitting in the back room with us, and she and the team in our office in Bromley created these really fun but amazing pom-pom cows. So they adorn our office, they adorned our Christmas tree, and I'm sure they'll be adorning more activities as we go forward. So something really fun, and I can see Leigh and Nicole being inspired by that black and white pattern of cows as well, with their apron and their headdress for today. So just a little taster. I hope that's inspired those on the call and those listening to the video to think about how far they can stretch World Milk Day, and going forward, look forward to this becoming a really firm date in calendars going forward, in the same way that St Patrick's Day, which we obviously celebrate as an Irish dairy co-op, becomes very much a part of a key date in the calendar for great connections between the wellbeing staff and catering teams, and ultimately residents in care settings.
And do you want to tell us the day for World Milk Day, Jean?
Yes. Yeah. So the official World Milk Day is the 2nd of June. So it's the first, I think, Saturday in every year. So so coming soon. I suppose about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks away. So plenty of time to start thinking about ideas, talking to your catering teams or talking to your activity teams to plan some amazing activities for your residents and local communities.
It certainly is a very user-friendly guide to celebrating. And as Jean mentioned, if this is your first time, there's lots of different ideas, information within the resource that can enable you to connect with any of the individuals that you support. And I'm particularly excited to see who makes the pom-pom cows. Don't forget to send in your pictures to us or tag us on social media if you do use any of the resources. We do really enjoy receiving images back from when you have used anything within your celebrations. So as Jean mentioned, the resource is available to download. We will have the information in the chat, and you can also find the link and resources to activities and other ideas for including World Milk Day in the June NAPA calendar, which is out now and it is free to download. Lakeland Dairies are our proud sponsors for the calendars, so please go and have a look. There is lots of information in there. Well, thank you for sharing the resource, Jean. I would like to welcome back, because I'm hoping we might have some questions from our viewers this afternoon, just before we wrap up. Can I welcome back Leigh and Nicole to the stage?
Hi.
Hello. Did you like the pom-pom cows?
I did. I love them.
There's some yummy recipes in there as well. I must admit, the rice pudding one did look very tempting to me, Jean, especially with the fruit and the stuff on top. So yeah. I'm not saying I would never try it, but yes, it looked really delicious. So I will, very appetizing. So if you do make that on a visit, yes, it'd be nice to try it, Nicole. Look yummy. Do we have any questions in the chat here? Oh, we do. I'm just seeing now. Thank you, Gianna. We do. We have a question from Zara. I'm a new cook looking at ways I can increase the calories into meals and drinks. Do you have any ways in which I can do this for World Milk Day? Nicole or Jean, should we start with Nicole? Do you have any tips as a new cook?
You can always swap milk for cream, and even better is the fortified cream with the added nutrients and vitamins in. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Brilliant. Jean, do you want to answer anything?
Yeah, sure. I suspect Nicole was referencing the Millet Gold cream alternative that we make, which is fortified with vitamin D. So that's obviously a great way to enhance meals. But also the skimmed milk powder that I mentioned before, that can add calories and protein to dishes. So it's a very nutrient dense ingredient that you can add to dishes. There's a couple of recipes in the resource we're releasing for World Milk Day, but what I will do based on that question, we'll add a couple of more links into our page to help you find those recipes to add those calories. We've got a dedicated fortification resource, so we'll put that on that link as well, Zara, so there'll be even more inspiration for you there.
Brilliant.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
add that probably next week now, but we'll get that added in.
Brilliant. Thank you. Do we have any more questions, Janet? Rob, hi, Rob. Thank you for watching. How can we do this for the individuals who are cared for in bed? Absolute brilliant question. It's one that we often get through the NAPA support line service, is how do we include the individuals that are cared for in bed? Leigh, I'm sure you have some ideas around this, how you can include them.
Well, first of all, the tour visit, the tour around the farm, that's easy to take in the rooms if you've got access to, say, a tablet, laptop. Even if they've got a TV in the room, we have dongles that we can go around with into the TVs. Depending on the diet restrictions, they can still sit up in bed and still attempt to help make your smoothies or maybe your lollies. We are going to be doing pin the udder on the cow. So there's possibilities of doing it that way as well. We're doing something for 30 days in June, which is around the world in 30 days. And we'll be basing different meals throughout the day, snacks and things. But on the World Milk Day, obviously, we needed to find somewhere within the world that one of the residents had been. So they'd been to Holland. So that resident could still be involved. Maybe you could, if you did the same, you could celebrate Holland with your meals. Take your quizzes, the quizzes that NAPA provide and Lakeland provide, do them in the rooms with them.
Fantastic. There's some really good ideas there, Leigh. And I think also working with your catering teams, think about how you're delivering the nutritional meals that you're providing to those that are cared for in bed. Think about the setup of the trays. Could you theme them almost when they arrive and pop in, as you've seen in the World Milk Day resource pack? There's a great image there for creative writing. Could that inspire a conversation between the care assistant and the individual they're caring and supporting? Some fab ideas. I think, is that all the questions, Jana? We've got one more. Okay, fab. Una, thank you, Una. I think my residents would love to milk a cow.
I like that woman. I tried to get a cow and I couldn't get a cow.
Well, I've heard about ponies and llamas coming in and alpacas, but I'm sure there is a smaller version of cows. But I think my residents would love to milk a cow. I have never milked a cow before. That would get the conversation going. Some fab ideas here. Well, he's certainly got a chuckle in Una. Jean, do you happen to have a spare cow?
Not today, Natalie. But I think that's I love the idea. I think it's fabulous, and maybe that's something we can look at going forward for next year. So yeah,
Cawood would be willing to try that out.
Okay, I'll remember that.
I can just see it in the news now. It'd be a great story. But I'm sure that as an activity provider, you certainly most can get creative. And if you can't have a physical cow in your care setting, then I'm sure you can adapt and create and try and see what the experience of milking a cow would look like. But I think that's a great way to end this live today, guys. That's certainly made us all chuckle, and I hope it made you chuckle out there too. Thank you, Una. So our time is up. I would like to thank Leigh and Nicole for joining us today. I would ask for top tips. If you've got 2 top tips each that you'd like to share with our viewers before we go, very quickly.
Be organised and plan everything, because it helps so much.
Ask others around you. Don't think you've got to do it on your own. Ask the care staff, after your catering, your manager. You'd be surprised what comes up just through one word that they might say. And
Brilliant.
your residents, ask your residents. It's there, it's
Brilliant.
for them to do, ask them.
Fantastic. I think they're brilliant top tips there, Jean. Would you agree?
I would, absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I think fabulous. Really, thank you again very much, Leigh and Nicole, for being on the call. You've really brought it to life. You've certainly inspired me, so I'm sure you've inspired others. And a big thank you for all your enthusiasm and, taking such special care of people. It's amazing jobs that you both do.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely. Well, that wraps up this afternoon's live. If you have missed any questions or you're watching post live right now, then please feel free to contact the NAPA support line service via phone or email if you have any questions in relation to World Milk Day or today's chat at all. But for now, I'd like to thank all our guests for joining. Please do go and download this amazing resource, and we'd love to hear how you celebrate World Milk Day this year. But bye for now.